Hello everyone. I welcome you all to the YuktMind's initiative of 10 minutes and newspaper done. With the prelims paper being conducted on 28th May, one can very well conclude that the typical foundation course will not be enough anymore and relevance of the newspaper is just increasing year by year. So let's do our bit today. Today is 30th May and we have selected 9 relevant articles for you. You can download the PDF from our Telegram channel or website. First news, Northeast gets its first Vande Bharat Express from Guwahati in Assam to New Jalpaiguri in West Bengal. Prime Minister said the capitals of Manipur, Mizoram, Nagaland, Meghalaya and Sikkim are being connected to the rest of the country. All capital cities of the Northeast are going to be connected by a broad gauge network. Vande Bharat will provide connectivity to Ma Kamakhya Temple, Kaziranga, Manas National Park, and the Pobitora Wildlife Sanctuary. It will enhance travel and tourism in few cities like Shillong, Cherrapunji, Meghalaya, Tawang, and Pasighat in Arunachal Pradesh. Now let's discuss few facts about Vande Bharat Express. It is India's first indigenous semi-high-speed train. The first Vande Bharat Express train travelled from New Delhi via Kanpur, Allahabad to Varanasi. It was earlier known as Train 18. It is an electric multiple unit train designed and manufactured by the government owned Integral Coach Factory ICF Chennai under Make in India program. It can achieve high speeds up to 160 km per hour and reduce journey time by 25 to 45%. Other features of Vande Bharat Express are indigenously developed train collision avoidance system known as Kavach. A photocatalytic ultraviolet air purification system is installed in the roof-mounted package unit for air purification. You can find these details in the PDF provided. Second article, the fast-feeding Sufiana, Mosiki and Chakri, devotional folk songs that assumed centrality for carpet and shawl weavers of Kashmir for centuries were replayed at Kunzer area in Baramulla of North Kashmir. Now what is Sufiana Mosiki? Sufiana means mystical. Mosiki means music. So it is kind of a mystical music. Sufiana Mosiki is the classical music of Kashmir. It is type of a choral ensemble music which is based on the principal melodic concept of maqam. It is an amalgam of the music of Persia, Central Asia, India, and was born due to the intercultural synthesis in the 15th century. Sufiana music has 180 muqams or stages, but unfortunately they are being lost because of decline in this tradition. Now, the instrument related to it, Saze Kashmir, is on the path of extinction. The dance form associated with it, Hafiz Nagma, is now out of practice. You can find the other details in the PDF. Third article, UN Peacekeeping Mission, India to train women from ASEAN. May 29 marked the 75th UN Peacekeepers Day. This is the day when in 1948, the first UN peacekeeping mission, UN Truce Supervision Organization, began operations in Palestine. India, one of the largest troop contributing nation to the UNPK, currently has around 5,900 troops deployed in 12 UN missions. Following Defense Minister Rajnath Singh's proposal last year for an initiative on women in United Nations peacekeeping operation as part of expanding India-ASEAN defense cooperation, India is set to conduct two initiatives for women personnel from Southeast Asia later this year. Fourth news is about new Central Vigilance Commissioner. Now, what is CVC? Central Vigilance Commission is an apex Indian governmental body created in 1964 on the suggestion of the Santanam Committee to address governmental corruption. In 2003, the Parliament enacted a law conferring statutory status on the CVC. What are the functions of the Central Vigilance Commission? It is empowered to inquire about public servants' offences under the Prevention of Corruption Act 1988. It also issues an annual report on the work of the Commission and identifies the failure in the system. It exercises superintendence over Delhi's special police establishment activities concerning investigation under the PCA Act or CRPC. The Central Vigilance Commissioner can hold the office of tenure for a period of 4 years or up to 65 years of age, and it applies to both the Central Vigilance Commissioner and the Vigilance Commissioners. The CVC is a multi-member body that consists of a chairperson and not more than two commissioners. The President appoints them by warrant in his hand and seal on the recommendation of three-member committee. Now, who are the members of this three-member committee? Prime Minister, Union Minister of Home Affairs, and the opposition leader in Lok Sabha. Fifth article, Girish Chandra Murmu, the CAG, has been re-elected as the external auditor of the World Health Organization for a second four-year term from 2024 to 2027. The CAG is already holding this position in the WHO since 2019 for a four-year term from 2019 to 2023. The CAG is a member of the United Nations panel of external auditors. Now, who is CAG? The Constitution of India provides for an independent office of the Comptroller and Auditor General of India. She is the head of the Indian Audits and Accounts Department and is the guardian of the public purse and controls the entire financial system of the country at both the levels, the central and the states. He shall be appointed by the President by warrant under his hand and seal. Try and remember the constitutional provisions related to CAG. Article 148 to 152 comes under the Part 5, the Union, which discusses appointment, conditions of service, duties, powers, accounts of Union and states, etc. Article 279 comes under Part 12, Finance, Property, Contracts and Suits, which discuss the calculation of net proceeds. Third schedule discusses the oath taken by CAG at par with the Supreme Court judge, thus underlining the importance of CAG in the governance of the country. Sixth news is about new parliament and its functioning. On May 28, 2023, PM inaugurated India's new parliament building. The 17th Lok Sabha, entering its final year, has functioned for 230 sitting days so far. Of all the Lok Sabhas that completed the full 5-year term, the 16th Lok Sabha had the lowest number of sitting days, that is 331. Among those terms which lasted for at least 5 years, the 17th Lok Sabha may end up being the shortest. The parliamentary standing committees were created in 1993 to assist Parliament in its legislative and financial business. Since 2004, of the total bills introduced in Parliament, only 45% have been referred to parliamentary standing committees. The latest budget session was the sixth shortest budget session since 1952. The rules of procedure of both houses provide for various devices which can be used to draw attention to matters of public importance, like half-an-hour discussions, short duration discussions, and adjournment motions. In the 17th Lok Sabha, only 11 short duration discussions and only one half-an-hour discussions have been held so far. Article 93 of the Constitution states that the Lok Sabha will choose two members of the House to be Speaker and Deputy Speaker. The 17th Lok Sabha has not elected a Deputy Speaker even as it enters the final year of its 5-year term. This is despite the Supreme Court issuing a notice to the central government in this February to respond to a PIL regarding the delay. Seventh news is about experts' opinion on the power of Chief Justice of India. Recently, a division bench of the Supreme Court in Ritu Chhabria versus Union of India affirmed an under trial's right to be released on default bail in the event of the investigation remaining incomplete and proceeding beyond the statutory time limit. Now, subsequently, the Court of the Chief Justice of India entertained a recall application moved by the Union of India against this judgment. It then passed an interim order directing courts to decide bail applications without relying on the decision laid down in the above case, which is Ritu Chhabria versus Union of India case, for a short period of time. By entertaining an intra-court appeal within the Supreme Court as an additional mechanism against an order passed by a bench that did not include the Chief Justice of India, the court of the CJI has effectively instituted a mechanism that is completely devoid of any legislative or constitutional backing, according to the expert. Now, what is the status of Chief Justice of India with respect to other judges? He is called first amongst equals. Within the constitutional scheme of things, all judges of the Supreme Court are equal in terms of their judicial powers. However, the CJI enjoys special administrative powers such as constituting bench, assigning matters, and references for reconsideration of a larger bench. That's why he is known as Master of the Roster. There are many recorded instances of abuse which are a cause of concern. Just 5 years ago, 4 senior judges of the Supreme Court alleged serious infirmities and irregularities in the administration and assigning of cases for hearing to the benches of the court. So, what is the way forward according to the expert? It is imperative that the CJI himself refrains from expanding his powers as a master of the roster, and it should be completely computerized and left out of the hands of the CJI. 8th news. The paucity of a sufficient number of faculty members in higher education undermines the growth of the country's knowledge sector and hinders its aspiration to be recognized as a Vishwaguru. There are two main obstacles to finding viable solution to faculty shortages. First is lack of reliable data on current faculty resources in colleges and universities. Second is partial understanding of faculty shortages as merely a quantitative issue. So, why there is no reliable data on faculty shortages? 2011 report states that there is no standing mechanism to collect the data on faculty shortages regularly. While the government does collect data on colleges and universities, including the number of faculty members for the annual All India Survey of Higher Education, this is a voluntary process for various institutions. Adjunct or part-time faculty members are often counted as part of the regular faculty to show off a favorable teacher-student ratio. Therefore, it has become impossible to get a reliable estimate. The shortage of faculty is not merely quantitative, it is actually much more complex. This article identifies 5 types of shortage. The first kind is related to the fact that the number of faculty members varies across disciplines, institutions, and location. The challenge here is to first achieve some kind of balance between demand and supply in specific disciplines. The second kind of shortage is inability to hire faculty despite a desperate need for them. The reasons are financial and affect nearly all state universities, which are grossly underfunded. The third kind of shortage exists due to the unwillingness of institutions to hire faculty members. This is common in many private colleges whose primary purpose is profit seeking. They also hire less qualified people in poorly paid part time positions instead of better qualified regular faculty members. The fourth kind is due to an unwillingness among faculty members to work at select institutions due to their unfavorable locations or the working and living conditions they present. And finally, faculty shortages are also of qualitative kind. This requires us to improve the quality of PhD programs at Indian universities. Ninth news. The Union Health Ministry recently urged state governments to audit hysterectomy trends in public and private hospitals in response to a Supreme Court petition arguing that women from marginalized locations are at risk of unjustified hysterectomies for economic gains and exploitation. What is the criteria for getting a hysterectomy? The highest percentage of hysterectomy were to treat excessive menstrual bleeding or pain, fibroids, cysts, uterine disorder, rupture, according to NFHS 5 data. Yet studies shows that many of these causes were considered to be treatable and surgery could be avoided. The procedure can easily be misused by either private clinics who earn profits or by contractors in unorganized sectors such as the sugarcane cutting industry, where wombless women are the norm, to eliminate the need for menstrual care and hygiene among workers. What the government is doing about it? The Union Health Ministry in 2022 issued guidelines to prevent unnecessary hysterectomies, listing possible indication of when hysterectomy may be required and alternative clinical treatments for gynecological issues. Government recommended setting up district, state level and national hysterectomy monitoring committees to monitor and collect data on age, mortality and occupations among other details. The monitoring committees are also tasked with creating awareness among both practitioners and patients about bodily anatomy, the role of uterus and when hysterectomies are actually indicated. The biggest issue is awareness because a 2017 study from Gujarat found most women assumed that the uterus served no role outside of pregnancy and then removing the uterus would solve their health issues. A 2019 investigation found that women from rural areas look at hysterectomies as a way of increasing days of productive work and earning more wages. The implementation gap is present, and this gap thrives in a culture where gynecological care and disorders outside of pregnancy does not exist. Hysterectomies may cause long-term injuries and disabilities requiring follow-up and post-operative care, both rarely available or affordable. In some cases where hysterectomies are not justified yet done, women may continue to suffer post surgery and might need additional surgery. Patients may need medical support such as hormone replacement therapies, but these interventions are limited to private hospitals and remain unaffordable for low income groups. Thank you for watching. Let us know your feedback in the comments. Keep visiting our website, Telegram, Instagram, and Twitter.